Dear Grade 12, I am Mrs. V. Ramlal. Welcome to Junior Taki Winter School for Grade 12s. There will be a series of videos which will be live streamed in the next few weeks on Junior Taki Online. Please use this material as a revision and also look at all the Grade 12 content in Life Science on Junior Taki Online. In this video, I will be looking at the Grade 12 Life Science Gauteng 2021 Prelim paper, Paper 1, and I will be doing question 3. Right, question 3.1. Read the extract below and answer the questions that follow. The Comrades Marathon is an ultra-marathon of approximately 89 kilometers, which is run annually in the KwaZulu-Natal province between the cities of Durban and Pietermaritzburg. It is the world's largest and oldest ultra-marathon race. Athletes run up to 12 hours continually to complete the race. Runners train for many months and they carbo load, which is consume a high diet in carbohydrates such as pastas and grains in preparation for this race. 3.1.1. While running, an athlete's body temperature increases. So, while running, an athlete's body temperature increases. Now, they want to know, describe the negative feedback mechanism that will restore the athlete's body temperature to normal. So, of course, we know when you're running, your body temperature increases. So, and it goes high. So they want to know what feedback mechanism is put in place to bring the temperature back to normal. Now we know the hypothalamus will be stimulated. Will send impulses to the blood vessels of the skin, which will cause the blood vessels to dilate or cause vasodilation. More blood flows to the surface of the skin. More heat will be lost through radiation. More blood will be sent to the sweat glands. The sweat glands will become more active. More evaporation of the sweat, which will cool the body and bring the temperature back to normal. So any of these 6 marks you could have answered. So any 6 would have guaranteed you your marks. Right. 3.1.2. Explain the effect of running for long periods of time on each of the following. So when you're running for long periods, what effect will this have on A, the water levels in the body? So we know when you're running for long periods of time, you're going to be sweating a lot. And because you're sweating, the levels of water in your blood will decrease. So it was explained. Don't just say water levels will decrease. Give a reason. When you're running for long periods of time, how will that affect the carbon dioxide levels? So of course, you're running a lot, you're using a lot of energy, you're producing a lot of carbon dioxide. So the CO2 levels will increase. Why? Because of increased cellular respiration in the muscles that is producing more energy for you to run. 3.1.3. Explain how carbo loading before the race assists athletes to have enough energy during the race. 6 marks. This is a lovely question. So when you carbo load before the race, excess glucose is stored as glycogen. Then when you're running, you need more energy produced by cellular respiration. This will decrease the blood glucose level. So the stored glycogen in your liver will be converted into glucose when glucagon is secreted by the islets of Langerhans. This was a very, very, very lovely question. And many kids got only part of the answer because they did not understand what was actually required from the question. Right. 3.2. Read the extract below and answer the questions that follow. Tsapang reads a WhatsApp message which stated, wearing a face mask increases the carbon dioxide levels in the blood and could lead to sickness. He decides to conduct an investigation to determine whether wearing a face mask increases the carbon dioxide levels in the blood. He could not afford a device that measures the carbon dioxide levels in the blood, so he decided to measure the pulse rate, which indicates the heart rate and breathing rate. He chose 10 classmates for the investigation. The breathing rate and pulse rate of each classmate was measured after 4 hours of not wearing a mask and again after 4 hours of wearing a mask. 3.2.1. Identify the dependent variable in the investigation. What was Tsapang measuring? Yes, he was measuring what? The carbon dioxide levels. 3.2.2. State 2 variables which relate to the classmates and should be kept constant in order to ensure the validity of the investigation. 2 marks. So wherever you see constant, validity, you must always have the word same. So with regards to the classmates, they should be the same age, the same gender, the same level of fitness, the same mass or weight, the same levels of activity, and the same diet. 3.2.3. Give 2 planning steps that Tsapang needed to consider before conducting his investigation. Right, for 2 marks. 323. He must get permission from whoever is being involved, the school, the parents, and the volunteers. He must decide which variables he needs to control, what method he will use, what equipment will be needed, how the result will be recorded, what safety measures will be needed, and the time or date when the investigation will be carried out. Only 2 of them. Equipment and table to record results can be applied to any experiment. So learn that as well. Right. 324. Explain how the breathing rate can be used to show an increase in the carbon dioxide levels in the blood for 4 marks. So we know when your CO2 levels in the blood increase above normal, we know too much carbon dioxide will decrease the pH of the blood because the carbon dioxide mixes with water in the blood and forms carbonic acid, and the acidity affects, there'll be too much acid in the blood, and that will cause a decrease in the pH of the blood. This will stimulate the receptors, which will send an impulse to the medulla oblongata, which will now send a message to the breathing muscles, which is the intercostal and the diaphragm, to contract faster. This will cause the breathing rate to increase to get rid of more carbon dioxide faster. Again, if you look at the mark allocation, any 4 marks would have guaranteed you these marks here for this question. 3.3. Read the extract below and answer the questions that follow. How to optimize the chances of conception. It is estimated that 1 in 5 couples in South Africa are suffering from infertility and are experiencing difficulty in conceiving. Research has shown that conception, fertilization, is more likely to happen when intercourse takes place in the 3 or 4 days leading up to ovulation. Recent evidence has also shown that many women have a poor understanding of the menstrual cycle and the process of ovulation. Incorrect timing of intercourse is therefore thought to be a common but easily correctable cause of difficulty in conceiving. The introduction of home-based hormonal digital ovulation tests, DOTs, has at the least provided a simple solution for women wishing to optimize the timing of intercourse when trying to conceive. So when you're giving a passage, try your best to answer from the passage. 331. Give 2 reasons according to the passage why women may have difficulty conceiving. You can see here, many women have a poor understanding of the menstrual cycle. So they have a poor understanding of the menstrual cycle or of the process of ovulation. And the other one could be incorrect timing of intercourse. Right. Now, 332. The digital ovulation test monitors an increase in a specific hormone. Name this hormone. Now, in the 3 or 4 days leading up to ovulation, which hormone? So this is what it measures. And the hormone we're looking for, most of you would have said luteinizing hormone, but look, it says 3 to 4 days leading up to ovulation, and that hormone would have been at high levels, estrogen. Name the gland that produces the hormone, estrogen. The ovary, or the ovarian follicle, or the Graafian follicle. Right. Name the gland that releases a hormone which triggers ovulation, and that will be the pituitary gland. And then give 1 reason why intercourse should take place 3 to 4 days before the ovulation, because then the sperm is already present, and it will give the sperm good chance to get to the ovum for fertilization to take place more easily or more likely. Okay. So, the memo wanted fertilization will be more likely, or sperm is already present in the fallopian tubes when the ovum is released. 336. Explain why the secretion of too little progesterone can pose as an additional problem to a female trying to fall pregnant for 2 marks. Yes, we know the progesterone makes the endometrium lining thicker. So if the too little progesterone, the endometrium will not be thick enough, and this will cause and affect implantation, where implantation will not take place. 3.4. Ultrasound, a sonogram, is an imaging technique that uses sound waves to produce images of the fetus in the uterus. Dr. Mkhize monitored the development of the fetus in one of her patients during pregnancy by measuring the fetal head circumference. She also monitored the blood flow along the umbilical cord. The results are shown in the table. Time in weeks, 14 to 40 weeks. Head circumference in centimeters, from 12 to 36 centimeters. 3.4.1. Give the correct biological term for pregnancy, 1 mark. We know that is gestation. 3.4.2, use the information in the table to plot a line graph. Now, you are measuring the head circumference from 14 to 40 weeks. That is what your heading must be. Fetal head circumference from 14 to 40 weeks. Don't write over time. Over time, it will not be a fetus. Then, you draw a line graph, which as you can see here, there's your lines. That's what the T stands for. C stands for correct caption, which is measurement of fetal head circumference from 14 to 40 weeks. Then your units, you had time weeks and unit weeks for x-axis, head circumference in centimeters for the y-axis. That was correct. Your scale was correct, 5, 10, 15. And here it should have been 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Here the scale is incorrect in the memo. And then all your 7 plotting points were correct. You got all 8 plotting points were correct. You got 2 marks. And 1 to 7, you got 1 mark. Make sure you use a ruler and you join your plotting points with a ruler for a line graph. That's easy, 6 marks. 3.4.3. Give 3 functions of the amniotic fluid that surrounds a fetus during pregnancy. Yes, we know the amniotic fluid protects the fetus against shock or mechanical injury, keeps the fetus moist, protects the fetus from drying out, protects the fetus from temperature changes, and allows the fetus to move freely or supports the body of the fetus during development. 3.4.4. List 2 structures through which the fetus will pass through natural birth. That's easy, the cervix, the vagina, or the vulva. 3.4.5. And the last question, while doing the ultrasound, the doctor noticed an umbilical cord arteries were blocked, but there was normal blood flow through the umbilical vein. Explain the effect that this will have on the developing fetus. The nutrients or oxygen will flow to the fetus via the umbilical vein, because that is not blocked. But metabolic waste, urea, toxic substances will not flow away by the umbilical arteries, and the fetus will die, or there will be a miscarriage, or will be negatively affected. Thank you for watching this video in which I do the Gauteng Prelim question 3. Join me and watch all my other videos as well.